Hello, dear students. Assalamu alaikum. Today, our topic is respiratory system in humans or man. In human beings, many organs take part in the process of respiration. We call them the organs of respiratory system. The main organs of human respiratory system are nose, nasal passage or nasal cavity, trachea, bronchi, lungs, and diaphragm. The human respiratory system begins from the nose. Our nose has two holes in it, which are called nostrils. There is a passage in the nose behind the nostrils, which is called nasal passage. The air for respiration is drawn into our body through the nostrils present in the nose. The air then goes into nasal passage. The nasal passage is separated from the mouth cavity, or you can say buccal cavity or oral cavity, by a hard bony plate so that we can breathe in air even when we are eating food, and the mouth cavity is filled with food. The nasal passage is linked with fine hair and mucus. When air passes through the nasal passage, the dust particles and other impurities present in it are trapped by the nasal hair and mucus so that clean air goes into the lungs. The part of throat between the mouth and windpipe is called pharynx. From the nasal passage, air enters into pharynx and goes into the windpipe. The trachea, which is a tube-like structure commonly known as windpipe, the air coming from the nostrils during breathing passes through this trachea. Trachea does not collapse even when there is no air in it because it is supported by rings of soft bones called tracheal rings. And whenever the dust particles enter, these are sticked by this tracheal rings because it is sticky one, and this trachea is divided into two parts at its lower end. Singular of bronchi is bronchus. The two bronchi are connected to the two lungs. The lungs lie in the chest cavity of thoracic cavity, which is separated from the abdominal by the muscular partition called diaphragm. The lungs are covered by two thin membranes called pleurula. The lungs are enclosed in a rib cage made of bones called ribs. Each bronchi divides into the lungs to form a large number of still smaller tubes called bronchioles. The smallest bronchiole have tiny air sac at their ends. The pouch-like air sac at the end of the smallest bronchiole are called alveoli. The walls of the alveoli are very thin and they are surrounded by the very thin blood capillaries. When we breathe in air, the diaphragm and the muscles attached to the ribs contract, due to which our chest cavity expands. The expansion movement of the chest increases the volume inside the chest cavity. Due to increase in volume, the air pressure decreases inside the chest cavity and the air from outside rushes into the lungs through the nostrils. You have to note, when air is taken in, lungs always contain a certain residual volume of air so that there is sufficient time for oxygen to be absorbed in the blood, for the carbon dioxide to be released from the blood. Carbon dioxide is more soluble in water, so it is mostly transported in the dissolved form in our body. Thank you. See you next class. Wish you all the best. Take care.